everybody!
Welcome to Unlock Church on YouTube. My name is Scott Mineral, and these are some of my amazing friends.
We are
We
friends.
We are amazing.
Lily rocking a dress today. Is it because it's
Looking
Easter?
good.
It's Easter. You're looking good too, Joe.
Thank you. You know, I'm rocking the pink in the
yeah.
bottom half. You know, not the
You
full
look-
thing, but
you look amazing.
Yeah, that's
Wait,
just
I
pretty
feel like
sweet.
I have scrubs on though. When I look at
No,
my
I think
pants, I
they're
feel like
cool.
they're nonetheless.
Very
you're
cool.
Hey, we are
Cool
stoked
guy.
that you're here with us. If you're popping in from the other video, man, this is going to be about 30 minutes on this channel. We want to talk to you about the race and Easter and all those great things. We hope you enjoyed the part one of what is turning out to be a very epic video. We had no idea when we showed up to race that day that it would be so
I
big.
know. Oh man.
it was big. We didn't really know anything
We
about
didn't
this
know what
race.
to expect, and I would say Holly, Scott's wife, said she's never seen me in such competition mode. Like I was ready to go.
Yeah,
I was ready to win. And
You were.
a lot happened. So wait till you see.
It does. A lot happens
Yeah, it's really
in the
good.
idea that, like, literally, when we talk about we didn't build it, we just plopped in and now we're just told read clues, figure them out, and get to a station. Like Lily and I, we're teamed up there, but it just naturally happened.
Yes.
Though you keep coming at me that I used you.
No, there's
For
a
like
conversation.
weeks you have this.
There's a conversation that takes place after I had said I feel like Scott's helping me a lot. So we talk about it.
Wait, Scott's helping me.
Or I mean, I'm helping Scott.
Yeah.
Right. So you guys saw
I think
that.
you guys
and
were helping each other.
Thank
we
you, Joey.
were helping each other. We talked about it after. I'm sure it'll make it in next week's race.
It might. She just says I'm riding her coattails, which I think I'm the one that got her to the golf course. I out-golfed her.
You did.
And Joey.
You did.
And so if you're wondering how's it working, everything's worth points. So in the golf game, I was the closest, so I got maximum points there. I think Joey was second. I think Michaela was third, and Lily was fourth in that.
Yes.
And so you score points by that. If you open up one of those envelopes, you lose points. And so Michaela and Lily opened up an envelope. Joey, you didn't, right?
I did not open
Did you
up
just
any-
aimlessly wander around until you found the bunny? Even though you went right by
No,
it?
I knew that it was a trail. I recognized that it was a trail, but I was looking. I didn't know where this trail was.
So that's
And
all
so
you're
I
looking
just
for.
went by, and then I don't know. I mean, yeah, I kind of.
So that was just chance.
a little bit.
Congratulations.
Wow.
I let
Let me just give you.
Yeah, that
Thank
cost
you. Hey, I'll give myself a little
Yeah.
clap.
that cost me a lifeline, and you ended up by chance. And
Yeah.
Oh.
That's crazy to me that you could find it. Okay, enough of that. We got a lot. We really want to talk about if you're like sitting out there and go, okay, people can say Happy Easter. We're gonna talk about that in a little bit, but we would love you to send in a picture of where you're watching. So snap a selfie. If you're out on one-way ride, take the picture, click, and then send it to the number that's on the screen, which is 651-276-8797. Send the picture to there and we'll put it up so we can share your Easter Day vibes wherever you are in the world.
Yes.
We'd love to see you. I know in the last video we had people from South Africa, England, the United States, Canada.
So cool.
So
cool.
thank you
All
for
of
those
that
that are
in
watching. Subscribe to this channel because we're always dropping stuff. If you got kids, Lily's got a great video for you to check out on this channel as well. And then Joey and his amazing team do something on Wednesdays for middle school and high schoolers. So
We do.
we got lots happening
Lots.
for you. We promised a trailer. We promised you a trailer of what's to come next week. Like we deliver, we don't. We just film it. The team that created delivered some great things. So here is, it's a 30-second trailer of what you get to see next week. Check this out. I think you're gonna love this right here. Enjoy.
Emotional to rewatch.
It is our emotions
All
go
I
up
gotta
and
say
down.
is that fall, man. Ow!
Oh, yeah.
You're
Don't talk
okay.
about it. Don't give it
Okay,
away.
okay, okay.
Oh,
No giving stuff away. No giving stuff away. And Michaela is not in here today because she's got baby
Yeah,
Blake.
she's taking care of a baby.
So she's with baby
That was
Blake.
a great trailer, though.
That trailer
That was
gets
really
me
good.
jacked
Yeah.
about next week. We have to edit it down. So to be honest with you, I think we'll deliver next week you the winner. But when we get into it, I mean, we have 11 and a half hours of footage. I mean, we went through probably 2 hours of the footage, so there's a lot left still to be told. So we're hoping to get it done in next week. So please do not be offended or upset if we don't. We really are trying to tell a great story and honoring those that created it. So thank you for everybody that watched. And the names that are sitting over here, we're stoked on it. We do know who wins. We picked the names, and I'm telling you, we were super nervous, right, when we drew the names.
Yes.
So nervous, and like there were so many great comments that it was so hard. Like I wanted everyone to win.
I know. Seriously, it was tough. And then like you picked your favorite comments, and then we like drew
from those favorites.
Favorite comments, and it's like, oh, like they're all so good that we're in the bucket.
So we'll show you more of that next week.
How we picked the name and all that will be revealed next week.
Yep.
So thank you from the bottom of our heart. It was a great way to start off our Easter day with you. Thank you for everybody that's in the chat, as I can just see names flying up there. I'm gonna grab my iPad really quick. Just being able to say good morning to Dean Bush. Got you, UK baby, he says in there. He's like, yeah, baby.
Yes.
Love it, Dean.
Joanne Richards, South Africa. We got people telling you where they're from.
Love that.
We got somebody wishing a happy birthday to AF. Somebody in here's birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
That's awesome.
We have the EUC Stir in the house. We have Supreme Supercuber _ Colin, I think.
I love it.
I don't know. You know, sometimes it's hard
fun to try to guess what your real names are from.
It is. That is.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, is your name Jeff or?
Yeah, like we got Potato.
Yes.
OXD.
Yes.
Hello, you say hi.
Hi.
Well, we only know you as Potato.
Potato's
you know
great.
us as,
Potato.
you know, that's okay.
Her
It's
name's
okay.
Danielle.
We got. It's so good to have so many people in the chat today. We're stoked. We got Noah. We got Noah in the house. We got Alex in the house. Just so many more. Troy Briggs is in the house. Same from Minnesota. Connor. Okay, we could keep going on.
Yes.
Thank you so
So
much.
good.
Thank you for those that sent any pictures. Do we have any pictures loaded up yet? We got a few pictures of people watching around the world. Let's throw those up to say good morning to you. Let's check this out right here.
Oh, look at that dog.
Good looking dog.
Oh, man.
Great looking dog.
That is
Chocolate
a good.
lab.
That is. It just makes me want to snuggle that guy.
Yep, I love
Okay, let me
it.
ask this question. Come back to the video. What's your favorite part on a dog?
Favorite part on
Yeah. Like when I ask that question,
the forehead.
mine is
like
their
this.
nose. I love a wet nose and then the ears.
I like the forehead.
I love the
Just like
ears.
this. I like going like
Yeah.
this on the forehead.
You do? You like what?
Little
Okay.
guy.
I like the ears.
Ears, you rub
Ears are
those.
good look.
But a wet nose pressed up against my cheek,
I like that too.
it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
And I don't care if it's like just
Slimy?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
don't. It's like the more cool wet it is, I'm like, yeah, that dog
Sometimes-
loves me.
Yeah, I agree.
That dog loves me. Okay, what else do we got
Okay,
here?
let's throw to another picture.
Awesome. I think that's Michael.
Yeah,
Michael's
wow, what
so
a
cool.
view.
That is beautiful.
I think.
Yeah,
Where does Michael live again?
Pennsylvania, I think he said.
That is
that's nice. That view is
Awesome.
sweet.
What else do we got?
All right, we got 2 more pictures for you. Hey, all the way down
look
in
at
South
that.
Florida.
They got swords
They got
for
their
Easter. It looks
Easter
like they're ready for
buckets.
battle.
Hey, I got a text from this family this morning.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right before that, we can come back to the video. We got a text from them that there was a mountain lion that was at their door seconds before
In
that.
Florida?
Yeah, that's why
Are
they're.
you serious?
That's
Did
why they
did
had.
a zoo get broken into?
I don't know, a cougar. I don't know what it
I
actually
heard
is.
some
That's
crazy
crazy.
things at zoos in Florida happen, so you never know.
Yeah, but no, they're alive down there. Think about it's a panther. Think about the hockey team.
Wild.
Yes.
That is,
Yes.
That's
What's the
why
hockey
you
team
don't
down
live
there?
in Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more
But
pictures.
okay,
The
wait,
lightning, right?
They have the swords.
They-
Go back to the picture. They have the
They have the
swords,
swords.
because they want to. They were
Bobcat.
trying to fight
a
off the
bobcat.
bobcat.
Ah,
Okay, so don't call me crazy. They were fighting off the bobcat.
a
Okay.
bobcat, really.
That-
Okay.
that is a great picture, though.
I'm so shocked.
Okay, so I'm trying to find the picture really quick just to show you all. Let's come back to the studio really quick because everybody. I feel
We
like
need to see
they're.
it tight in on Scott so we can see this amazing picture of the bobcat.
Look,
Let's
this
see
is.
it.
We'll get it in focus for you right here.
What?
That was Texas.
That's
A&M this morning.
crazy. You
That
guys.
is the same.
Would you have
see
went
the
outside?
ground?
Yes, I
Same
see.
ground. That
That's-
was moments
That's unbelievable.
So
before.
that's
Moments before.
What they do?
They went out with swords. What else would you do?
I would have hid in my house.
Joey would have gone. Joey would have been.
I would have been like, see ya!
Yep. But kids want their eggs. Okay. Let's. We got 2 more now. 2 more. Let's give us the last ones here. Let's see them. Oh man.
Oh,
were
Ryan,
so great.
Sarah.
I really didn't know who
And
the
the
dog
dogs.
was.
You
Yeah.
were so pretty. Really, I love
Sarah, your
it.
hair
Love
looks
it.
great.
Looks so good.
Those dogs, so good, well behaved. Okay,
So
okay.
Good to see you all.
And then Icon
That's
outside.
historic. That's historic.
Oh, historic. Yes. One of my daughters, and I even got it right.
Looking
Dang.
great. Looking great.
Okay,
Love the
okay.
nails.
Thank you, everybody, sending in the pictures. Sarah was one of the volunteers that were helping us in the race. Thank you, Sarah, for all of your help. And, side note, Sarah, your name was put into the bucket because one of your comments were so good. So you know that you were in that. Let's do that.
Let's do what?
If anybody's watching a little bit, tell us a few of our favorite people that we picked. Like Sarah, we picked her.
Yep.
Okay, can we remember?
Johan.
Johan Richards.
Johan.
Johan, from you, we picked you. You're one
And
of.
this isn't who we were
winning.
racing for. This is
No.
some of our
No,
favorite
these
comments.
are just some of
Correct,
our favorites.
thank you.
Mackenzie Cohall,
Mackenzie Cole.
Hey, Miss Haley,
Miss Haley,
Miss Haley.
Chris Gilbert.
Chris Gilbert. Good times with the goodies. I remembered that comment. Good one there.
Yep.
Brooke Noonmaker.
Okay, so you're gonna ask us to keep going. We have no idea.
Last we pulled.
We pulled. We all had 10.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's 40
Including
names got
Michaela.
pulled
Yeah.
for a chance to win because we had over 1,000 comments. Okay, enough rambling. We got a great video that's going to set up a talk about Easter today. We're going to ask you I'm going to ask it now, but I'm going to come back and ask it, but you can think about it while the video's playing. Who do you say Jesus is? That's what we're going to talk about over the next few moments here. So watch this video and I'll be right back. Enjoy. This is such a good video, okay? It sets up Easter. It's so good. I hope you're stoked about this. Check this out right here. Enjoy the video.
It was Friday afternoon, and Jesus is dead. His brutalized body hanging without life on a cross dropped into a hole in the dirt. His executioners had dug the holes, prepared the place, and done their job with ruthless efficiency. This wasn't how it was supposed to be. The hope of mankind overcome by powers of hell, by the shadow of a grave. We once knew what it was like to rule and reign on the earth. We were made to live in the light, in a relationship, in purpose. We were made for more than what we've come to accept as normal. Ever since the garden, Satan and his kingdom have been tightening their grip. Darkness has ruled evil, chaos, suffering, hopelessness. We've been enslaved and crippled by the holes the enemy has been digging for us too. But instead of killing the Messiah, the cross became a catalyst for salvation. The hole that was dug to hold an instrument of shame and death was instead filled with an instrument to bring healing and new life. That's the way God is. Nothing is impossible with him. He's always restoring, always renewing, always able to take what was meant for evil and turn it for good, to take our graves and turn them into gardens. Why? Because he never gave up on his plan. He has never given up on us. He knows what we don't, that you can't have resurrection life without death. Jesus, he died so we can have lives of purpose and power over the grave. He is not dead, he is alive. And because he lives, we can live again.
We're back. That's such a good video that sets up Easter. If you're watching from all over the world, which we know you are, I know it's a totally different time of day. You might have already had Easter feast. You might be early in the morning. I thank you for taking out your time to hang with us. We don't take that lightly. We're stoked to see that there are people in the chat today. So hang with us in the chat, chat away. You're gonna have Joey and Lily in the chat. If you got questions, you can text the number on the screen as well. We'll put it up there really quick for you. If you wanna text any questions about what we're talking about, you can text it and somebody will get back to you either in the moment or later this week. We'll answer your questions and we would love to be there right for you. If you need prayer, I know it feels like hokey, like, oh, like that's so televangelistic. I get it. I understand those vibes, but here's the deal. I want to be able to give you a chance to get some answers and prayers. So take that, write it down, and text as we go. The question I asked before is, who do you say Jesus is? All right, we celebrate Easter with this. Easter is the resurrection of Jesus. It's a big deal, okay? It's like the thing that makes it different about Jesus than any other religion that is out there, is that Jesus died and then he rose again. That's a game changer, okay? But on Easter, everyone should ask this question. And maybe you haven't asked this question in a long time. Maybe since you walked away from being a follower of Jesus, maybe you said, I'm done with being a follower of Jesus. Maybe you had some friends that you said are hypocrites. You're like, I'm out. And you haven't thought about who Jesus is. And so when I'm asking it today, you're like, come on, man, I just came here for a one-wheel video and now you're throwing this big old question at me. Bro, hold up, slow. No, I really am. I think this is a very important question. This matters to ask this question. Who do you say Jesus is? And if it's been a while, is a good time to ask about it. See, the resurrection of Jesus is what convinced his first century followers, his disciples, those that did life with him. The resurrection is what convinced them that he was the Jewish Messiah, that he was the Son of God, and that he was God in a body. It was the resurrection that separated it all. That was a game changer. Because up to that moment, Jesus had been dead for 3 days. And you know what his disciples did? You know what they thought was going to happen? They thought that he was going to do what every dead person does, and that is stay dead. They ran. They were afraid. They doubted. They lost their faith in Jesus. They were like, it's done. It's over. Not a chance. They lost their faith in Jesus. Why? Because he had died. They didn't think that the Messiah, because that's what Jesus was walking on this earth. He's saying, I am the Messiah. I am God's son. I'm God in a body. And hey, I'm the resurrection in life. And so they're going, hey, this guy could never die. And he dies. See, it wasn't Jesus' teachings that convinced them. It wasn't even his miracles or tricks that convinced him, or all other the miracles that we read about in the Bible. Those are not the things that convinced them that Jesus was who he was. It was the resurrection, and it has been convincing people ever since. See, that's the thing for you and I today. It's not what Jesus says in the Bible. It's not because the Bible says so that we are followers of Jesus. It's not because the Bible says what it says. Those are great documents that record actual events and eyewitness accounts to what is happening, and I love those things, and I read them as much as possible and consume it because it changes my life forever. But I'm not a follower of Jesus. I'm not serving other people. I'm not trying to outlove one another because of what the Bible says so. It's because Jesus died on a cross and rose again, because of the resurrection. We don't believe Jesus rose because the Bible says so. So I want to read, I wrote it down because I don't want to miss it, okay? So I'm going to read a lot of notes here. But really, if you can, listen to the words I'm saying, because I'm going to sum up why we believe Jesus is God. Here's why. If you're on the fence about it, you have lots of questions. You're like, yeah, I've been wondering, is Jesus God? Who is God? Where is God? You know, one of my kids asked the other day, who created God? I love those questions. I love that my kids are thinking on their own. I don't want them just to hear and go, Dad says I have to be a follower of Jesus. I want them to have their own relationship with Jesus. I want you, wherever you're watching this, to have your own relationship with Jesus. Your own. Not somebody else. Stop borrowing mom and dad's faith. Stop borrowing grandma and grandpa's faith. Don't say, well, my grandma went to church all the time. She took me and I sat in the pews. That's borrowed faith. This is not about borrowed faith. This is about your relationship with Jesus. And so why do we believe Jesus is God? I wrote it like this. We believe that Jesus rose from the dead because of first century followers of Jesus named Matthew documented the life of Jesus and documented the resurrection. We believe because a Greek named Mark, who was a friend of Peter, got Peter's story out of Peter and concluded in the first century that Peter was telling the truth and that Jesus actually rose from the dead. And we believe because a doctor named Luke, who was also Greek, who traveled around the area of Judea, traveling around the world with the Apostle Paul, came to the conclusion he had met enough people who'd seen the resurrection Jesus, that Jesus was alive and he gave an account, and we all call it the Gospel of Luke. And at the beginning of the Gospel, he says to the person who he is writing this for, "Oh, excellent Theophilus." I have sat down like many have to give the orderly account of events that took place among us. And we believe because the Apostle Peter, in the 2 letters he left for the first century church, declares Jesus rose from the dead. And we believe Jesus rose from the dead because this is my favorite part. This is my favorite part because his brother James believed he was the Son of God, that he was God in a body. And what would your sibling have to do, or what would you have to do to convince your sibling that you were the Son of Man? You'd have to do something. You couldn't do magic tricks. You couldn't just knock him over the head. You'd have to do something. And when we look through history, James didn't believe James didn't believe that Jesus was God until Jesus rose from the grave, came back. It's the game changer. It was the thing that James was like, that's the thing. James didn't believe Jesus was the Lord while he was doing all the miracles. It was after the resurrection. James, the brother of Jesus, shows up as a pastor later on in the history books of the church in Jerusalem. And then he was stoned because he wouldn't give up that he believed his brother was God. We believe that the Apostle Paul, who stepped onto the pages of history as someone who was committed to doing away with the church, concluded that Jesus was, in fact, the Jewish Messiah. He was the Son of God and that he actually rose from the dead. And we know this because of a personal revelation and because he spent so much time with Peter and Andrew and James and John and James, the brother of Jesus. And these extraordinary brave men documented what they saw and documented what they heard. And they documented what they heard from others who had seen the resurrection of Jesus. The story of Jesus wasn't worth telling or documenting a part of the resurrection. If Jesus didn't come back to life, there would be no reason to document it because it would have been built on all lies. The reason it was documented is because what we celebrate on Easter. Without the resurrection, Jesus was just another Jewish rabbi that went off the rails. Apart from the resurrection, Jesus is just another wannabe Messiah executed by Rome. And when you read through the history books of the culture, there were plenty of men saying they were the Messiah. But when they were executed, that was it. It all stopped at the death of their life. It never continued on for very long. Maybe a few handful of people were committed to it because they were good friends. But eventually it died out except for being a follower of Jesus, being a Christian. Have you ever noticed that the authors don't write themselves into the stories as heroes? Think about this. When you read through Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you don't read that these guys were the heroes of the story. Woo! We are perfect. We've not messed up. We've done it all right the whole time. We don't read any of that. What we see is they write themselves in as doubters, as fools, as idiots, putting their foot in their mouth all the time. If it was made up stories to make themselves the heroes, then they would write it in a way that they always won. Every single person who loved and was devoted to Jesus determined that they had been fooled and they had been tricked. He was not the one he claimed to be, was the thinking of everyone on Friday when Jesus had died. It was over. See, I want to give you details today in a very short amount of time on what happens after Jesus is killed in the resurrection. These are real life documentations of it. It's like me telling you that I have actually gotten 2 holes in one of which I crack off of a par 3 with an iron. It goes up in the air and it comes straight into the hole. It doesn't bounce on the green. It is in the hole. It's like some of you believe that. Some of you go, I think you're making up. You're like being really exaggerating with the details, but I'm not. There was the lawn keeper was right there at the hole. He was freaking out when he saw it. My brother-in-law was standing there right there. You can go to the golf course. My name is on a plaque there. A hole in one, like a literally blink right in. It's crazy. You have to choose to believe that, but I was there. I actually experienced it. I'm sharing with you an eyewitness event, an event that took place in my life. That is the same with these men and women that we read about in the Bible. Stay with me here, bud. As we read here in the Bible where Jesus did these things and we have eyewitness accounts. See, why everybody doubted on Good Friday, we call it Good Friday here because that's when we celebrate. That Friday when Jesus died is because they thought that, no, wait, he is God and about. There's no way. There's no way he's coming back. See, the problem with Jesus was that he claimed about himself. And if he was telling the truth about who he was, clearly he lied because you can't crucify the resurrection and the life. You can't execute God's Messiah, that the Jews have been waiting for hundreds of years. You can't put the Son of Man to death. You just can't. That's what they're trying to say, is there's no way. So when he's dead, heart stops, lungs stop, it's over. They feel like they've been duped. They've wasted three years of their life. So John, an old man, thinking it's time for him to write down or dictate this encounter that he's had with God. He starts in John chapter 11, verse 45. Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary had seen what Jesus did and believed in him. This is part where, you got to catch this part. This is where John's trying to get you to understand. This is the climax of the story of Jesus' life, where Jesus goes to Lazarus. Lazarus is dead. Lazarus is brought back to life. And bam, when that happens, Jesus is all of a sudden, fame is at a high new level. Like people are like, oh man, this guy, look what he did. This dude was dead. So many people knew he's dead. He's back to life. I believe in this guy. And what happened was the Jewish religious leaders were amped about this. They're like, we're going after Jesus. If we don't do something now, we're in big trouble. If we don't end this, we're gonna lose control of this. And so they got really fast to crucify him. They were trying to figure out, how do we arrest them? And so it was too many were believing. See, in John chapter 11, verse 47, this is John writing, then the chief priests and Pharisees called a meeting. What are we accomplishing, they asked. Here's this man performing many miracles. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. And then the Romans will come and take away both our temple and our nation. They were afraid of what they were going to lose if this took off. They were not afraid about their life being changed in the positive. They were like, we're going to lose what we already have. And maybe some of you that's the same. It's like, man, if I have to trust in Jesus, if I believe Jesus, I have to change. But is it not necessarily bad? Changes are actually really good for us. It actually keeps us from being stagnant. Think about the Dead Sea. It's called the Dead Sea because there's no outflow. It's just dead. If we don't constantly change, we will become like the Dead Sea where there's no outflow and change. And no one really goes, hey, let's go hang out at the Dead Sea. We visit the Dead Sea because it's a novelty. But we're not going, woo! Let's take and just beach around the Dead Sea. If you ever look up a picture, there's palm trees all around the Dead Sea. Do you know that they bring those in? There's a lifespan of like a couple months, and then they have to get these palm trees out of there because they die. Because why? Nothing grows around the Dead Sea. We need to constantly be changing in our life for the positive. So by the end of the week, after Lazarus had come back, by the end of the week, Judas had made a deal with the religious leaders that I know Judas is one of the 12 that hung out with Jesus. I know where Jesus will be. I know where he'll be separate from the crowd, and you can get him there. So they give Judas some money. At the end of the week, they're eating a meal together, famously known as the Last Supper. And Jesus begins to have a conversation going, hey, there's a new covenant between us. There's going to be a new arrangement between you and me and God and the human race. And it's not just for a select few. It's not just for the Jewish people. It's for everybody. This new command, what is it? You're like, what is it? You're probably familiar with the 10 Commandments. Jesus is about to say, I'm about to trump all of that. I'm not getting away with it. I'm about to give you something that supersedes that. And this is what Jesus says is the new command. You are to love each other the way I have loved you. That's it. Being a follower of Jesus, that is our command. We believe Jesus is who he said he is. What do we do then? We love others like Jesus has loved us. And Jesus is about to put an exclamation point on it. When the eyewitnesses are hearing this, these 12 disciples are hearing this, like, okay, we've seen what you've done. You've done some really cool miracles. You've taught us a lot on leadership. Okay, so you've laid down your reputation for us, but they didn't know he's about to lay down his life. And that's a lot of hang up for people. It's like, I don't want to give my life up for other people. I don't want to serve other people. See, Jesus says you are to love each other, not the way you've been loved, not the way you want to be loved. This isn't do unto others as you want them to do to you. This is lay down your life so others might be able to live. So moments later, Jesus is arrested in the garden. He went there to go to pray. He's taken to the high priest. The high priest falsely accuses him of all kinds of things. He's then beaten, and then he's taken to Pilate to say, Pilate, crucify him. Pilate says, hey, listen, hold on. I don't see anything wrong with this guy. The crowd starts chanting, crucify, kill him, kill him. He's like, okay, I don't want to do that. There's no fault this man has done. But what I'll do is I'll beat him an inch of his life. And so he gets flogged. He gets a crown of thorns put on his head. The Roman Empire was so good at figuring out how to beat someone to an inch of their life that it was just moments before they died, but you could still recover and live. And so they beat him at that point. He brings him back in front of the crowd and go, are you not satisfied? He has been beaten. I don't think he'll continue to do this for a while. Be satisfied. And the crowd begins, kill him, kill him. They chant, crucify him. They said it's not enough. So finally Pilate says, wash my hand of this situation. In John chapter 19, finally Pilate says, hand him over to them to be crucified. So the soldiers took charge of Jesus, carrying his own cross. He went up to the place of the skull, and he was crucified. Remember, John is like the age of 70 years old, and he's dictating this to someone who's writing it down in Greek. So he's remembering this moment. There's no details given about the crucifixion, of how they drew the nails into the wrists or the feet. Nothing. No details need to be given, because in the first or second century church, they didn't need it. The audience he's writing to, they know. They've seen the gruesomeness of a crucifixion. There's no details needed to be given. He's simply just saying, hey, he was crucified. John 19, John goes on, near the cross of Jesus stood his mother's sister, Mary Magdalene. And then Jesus saw his mother there and the disciple whom he loved standing nearby him. And he said to her, woman, here is your son. And to the disciple, here is your mother. From that time on, the disciple took her to be his mom. When John's writing here, he's talking about himself. The disciple is him. The one God loves is me, he's saying. It's me. So John's there, Mary's there, another Mary is there, and Jesus looks at his mom and says, hey, you see that guy? He's now your son. Hey, John, you see that my mom is now your mom. Take care of her as your own. And Mary and John were inseparable until Mary passed away. Continuing into the story, John, after Jesus was thirsty, they gave him a drink. John chapter 19, verse 30. When he had received a drink, he said, it is finished. With that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. John chapter 19, verse 35, if we can get that on the screen. The man, John, this is John, the man is John, who saw it, has given testimony, and his testimony is true. He loves that he tells the truth. He knows that he's telling the truth and testifies so that so many believe. Again, he's saying, my name is John. I'm the man that was there. I'm telling you, I saw it. It's true. John is the man. If you were if you were reading this for the first time, you might pause in the story and say, I believe everything you're saying. Or John is telling me, I believe that a wannabe king was put to death. Because that's easy, right? Going, yeah, I believe that part. But that's not what John's talking about. John's saying, I want you to believe the next part. Because it's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy. John wasn't talking about the part what he just said. It's what's coming next. So, John chapter 19, later Joseph asked Pilate for the body of Jesus. Now, Joseph was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly became to fear the Jewish leaders. With Pilate's permission, he came and took the body away. He was accompanied by Nicodemus, the man who had early visited Jesus at night. Nicodemus brought a mixture of myrrh, aloe, and about 75 pounds of embalming fluid. Why were they going to embalm Jesus? Because they thought Jesus was going to do what every dead body does, and that stays dead. So, taking Jesus' body, the two of them wrapped it with spices and strips of linen. This was accordance to the Jewish burial custom. John's putting this in there so you understand that if we're not Jewish, we understand, hey, there is a way, a process we do things, and here's the process. Now, they're in a hurry because it's Passover weekend, and they know that, hey, tomorrow is the Sabbath, and if we don't sort this out, if we don't get him buried by midnight, we will be sinning. And so we got to get this done quickly and get the stone back over so we aren't sinning. And so they take care of it quickly. And that was Friday. Saturday, we read nothing. All we know is that the disciples, as we read through history, disciples disappeared. A lot of them went back to where Lazarus was brought from the dead. But we do know that John and Peter stayed nearby. But we have no idea what they talked about. I mean, their life just is fallen apart. It's in shambles. They've lost everything. Like they've wasted 3 years of their life. Saturday, nothing. Sunday, on the third day, they hear a knock, 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 knock on a door. They locked it. They were scared, hunkered down, right? Because they knew they were wanted men because they were disciples. And all of a sudden they're like, oh no, they're coming for us. They found us. And they realized that it was Mary Magdalene. And they let Mary in. See, Mary Magdalene, you're like, who is this woman? She's popping up again. Mary Magdalene was one of Jesus' most devoted followers. She followed Jesus for a long time because Jesus had delivered her. Jesus had performed a miracle for her. Jesus had performed a miracle for many, but she was one of those that stuck and followed him. She was one of the women that followed Jesus and was so grateful because Jesus constantly elevated the dignity of women and he elevated the dignity of children and everyone. Jesus wasn't about select people getting a hierarchy. He's elevating everybody. Mary Magdalene says in John chapter 20, they have taken the Lord out of the tomb. We don't know where he has been put. None of the writers of the story in the Bible, they don't write themselves as heroes. Like, we knew where he went. They were shocked and blown away. You should read your Bible. So Peter and the other disciples started for the tomb, both running, but the other disciple outran Peter and reached the tomb first. This is John saying, I got there first. I'm the other disciple, but I'm bragging. I outran Peter. I got there first. I am faster than Peter. Peter's dead by now. I just want you to know, I was faster than Peter. If there was a foot race, you wanted me on your team because I was faster than Peter. This is John having a bit of a laugh. John chapter 20, verse 5. He bent over and looked at the strips of linen lying there, but did not go in. This is John saying, hey, listen, I'm a bit afraid to go in the tomb. I'm not going. It's a tomb, guys. There's dead people in there, dead bodies. I'm not going in there. But then we read that where Peter's late to the game, but he just runs in, breaks it. Why? Because it's Peter. Peter put his foot in his mouth. He spoke without thinking. He did things without, he just was Peter. Peter busts through the door and go, whoa, and nobody here. Nobody. We fast forward as they figuring out what's going on. Where's the body? Where did this happen? Finally, the other disciple who had reached the tomb first went inside. And John is about to write down a formula or dictate his formula. The formula we find in the gospel. This formula that John wants to leave his readers with because it takes us to the center of the Christian faith. John writes in chapter 20, verse 8, he saw and believed. It was that moment that what he had lost hope in, he saw that the body was gone and now he believed. It's an invitation to you and I, as you hear the words I'm speaking today, you can see, you can hear with your ears, and you can believe. Could you imagine such great mercy? Could you fathom such boundless grace? Jesus spoke to the rich and the poor, did dinner with tax collectors. Jesus empowered the disempowered, elevated the dignity of women and the poor. That the God of the ages stepped down from glory to wear my sin and bear my shame. That was his message. But one I do want to read to you. This is one conversation as we wrap this up. One conversation that Jesus had when he came back to life and he walked this earth in John chapter 20, if we can get that on the screen. Now Thomas, also known as Nicodemus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the Lord. At this point, sightings were popping up all over the place that Jesus is alive again. It's like, Phantom Jesus. Like, did you see Jesus? I saw him at Starbucks. I saw him at Caribou. I saw him at the local pub. No, I don't believe it. Like, now here's got Nicodemus or Thomas. He wasn't there. So they said, Nicodemus or Thomas said, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my fingers where the nails were and put my hands into his side, I will not believe. A week later, his disciples were in a house again, and Thomas was there with them. And this is where John's like going to write this, and he's going to listen to me. This part is a little bit crazy. Like, if you're trying to write a fake story to make you believe it, then you would leave this part out. But because John's dictating true events, he's like, I got to put this part in there. They're in a house, the doors are locked, and all of a sudden, in chapter 20 of John, verse 26, though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. Jesus saying, peace be with you, because they're all like, a man just walked through the wall. What the crap just happened? They're freaking out. And she's going, calm down, you morons. It's me. I came back to life. I think I can handle walking through walls. And John's trying to say, stop when I ask questions. I don't know the answers to this. I can't explain this. He's just saying, believe me. Just believe. And then this is Jesus says to Thomas, put your fingers here, see my hands, reach out your hands and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe. The Greek translation of this is not stop doubting. The Greek translation is do not be unbelieving, but believing. Thomas said to him, my Lord, my God. Then Jesus told him, because you have seen, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. This is Jesus saying, listen, this is where Jesus knows from an audience that one day will read this, you and me reading this, blessed are you and I when we decide to be a follower of Jesus and say, answer the question, who is Jesus? Jesus is God in a body. When we answer that right, it then turns to the next thing, what are we going to do about it? And that's where we become lovers and not fighters. We hate less and we love more. We put other people first. We try to one another all the time. So my question is, who do you say Jesus is? Today it's an invitation for you to say, Jesus is God in a body. And besides, if the resurrection never happened, got it. Throw it all out. But the resurrection happened. I believe it, and so should you because of eyewitness accounts. There's so many more facts and scientific ways to prove it. But today I'm asking you, would you believe these eyewitness accounts from what we learn about Jesus today? Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, God in a body. And in that, would you begin to live a life where you ask this question, what does love require me to do? Would you hate groups of people less? Would you elevate the poor and the needy and those that are being suppressed in our countries, in our world, and start to do what Jesus did? Would you begin to read the Bible and start to apply the principles of Jesus? Who do you say Jesus is? Have we given you enough compelling facts today to move from a doubting life to a life of belief? And as Thomas was like, oh no, I won't believe until I can. And then Jesus says, he speaks to you and me. Blessed are those even more that believe when they hear. Do you believe today? And if you don't, it's okay. It's a journey. But you're always asking, why do we smile and laugh and giggle all the time in our ups and downs and one-wheel races and stuff? It's because our hope is not in our abilities. It's in what Jesus did on Easter. Game changer. So as I pray, would you pray? And we're going to put the phone number up on the screen. If you're like, hey, I got more questions, or hey, I believe, would you text that number and say, I believe? That's it. And this is a way, this is not, we're not going to text you back unless you want us to. This is a way, this is a movement for you to go, this is my action today. I'm going to move in a direction saying, I believe. I believe. This is you making an outward motion for something that happened on the inside. Text it. Let me pray. Jesus, I pray for every last person watching this through the week or today on Easter. May today people move in a direction where they're believing more than they ever have before. Those that grew up in church and walked away, may this be a moment where they are just like, that's it. I believe. I'm no longer going to doubt. I'm going to learn the things I need to learn as I'm in the process of being a follower of Jesus. But I believe that Jesus died on a cross and rose again. Not because my grandma told me or because the Bible says so, but because the actual event took place. And that we know, blessed are we who believe from hearing. Jesus, may this be just a shot in the arm. May this just be a boost of energy in our lives today. That, man, if you overcame death, God, you can overcome the obstacles in our life. So we ask that you jump into our messes and help us. Jesus, we love you in your name. Amen. Thank you, everyone that took time to hang with us, listening today. We hope, as Lily and Joey are up here with me,
amen.
we hope
Amen.
you're stoked and you're ready to go, because it should be, right?
Yes.
They should be.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
It should be a shot in the arm, like I was putting
it's
this
like
together.
a celebration.
Yeah, it's like he is alive and not dead, and that's worth celebrating. So, thank you for everybody that's hanging with us. We're going to wrap up here in a second, but we want to give you a chance to give. How can they do that, guys?
Yes, you can go to unlockchurch.com/give. You can also check out this slide here. You can text the word unlock to 77977. Basically giving you guys a chance to be obedient to what God asks of us in his word. You can go and find it for yourself, and we're all trying to do the same here as well.
Yes.
And the whole reason we're putting that up there is because we understand, the whole Bible we talk about, and the Bible talks about giving a portion of our resources, the money we make. This isn't because we want your money. It's not that. We're not that kind of people, okay? We're not. We're not trying to wear really expensive things and drive really good cars. What we're trying to do is reach as many people. And we want to teach people what Jesus has to say, and he talks about this. That's why we're doing that. If somebody's offended by that, I'm not looking to offend you. Just hear our heart. We love you. We'll be back next week. There are a lot of opportunities for you to hang out with us. Go to unlockchurch.com for all upcoming events, yeah?
Yes.
Sound good to you guys?
Sounds so good.
So good.
We love you.
We love you. Seriously.
Thank you for hanging with us. Happy
Happy
Easter, everybody.
Enjoy.
We hope you have a great ham or whatever you're doing today. This one is over.